Now we're going to take a look at arrays in Java. An array is actually a very simple construct that basically allows us to have a single variable reference a series of memory locations that are all of the same type. If you need to keep a number of variables of the same type, it really would be a problem if you just had to do int a, int b, int c, int d. You have 20 variables or so, and that would be a problem. So what we do is we have a construct called an array, which is a single declaration of memory, with each allocation being the same type. So in this case, I might want to declare an array that has one variable name, say ARR, that would have 20 locations each. Would be for an integer, or would take a size of an integer, 32 bits. So this might be an example of an array of 12 integers. And it's good to think of it this way as buckets. We have these 12 buckets that will be used, and we'll just reference it with a single variable. We'll just need to know which bucket we're trying to refer to. So in this case, we'll reference this array with a single variable called ARR. And then if we want to use any one of the particular buckets, what we will do is we will reference each location by an index or a number which starts at 0. In Java, a lot of the numerical constructs start with 0, whereas in some other programming languages they start with 1. So in this case, this array which is created has 12 buckets. Each one is labeled with an index that goes from 0 to 11, or a total of 12. So if we wanted to declare this array, we would do the following. We basically start with int bracket bracket ARR. ARR is the variable name, and that could be anything you wish. But the int with bracket bracket is to tell Java that we are basically declaring that ARR is an integer array. We're going to denote the arrays as these brackets. The difference here is that when we declare an array, we have to actually allocate the memory, and so we do that with this keyword new. And so we say int ARR is an integer array, and we're going to assign that the memory location new, where we create a new set of memory of 12 locations, each of type integer, and that will tell Java to create 12 32-bit allocated sequential spaces of memory and point ARR to that so that we know where we will find each corresponding index. So now that we've done that, what we can do is we just need to figure out how to put stuff into it. And it's very simple. Once we have the declaration of the array, we can then do ARR, which is the variable, offset 2 equals 7. And what it will do is it will find the ARR array, which is this memory location, find the number 2 index, and put the number 7 into it. So we can see here with ARR5 equals 2, we are basically going to go to the ARR referenced array. We're going to go to the index 5, which is the 6th location, and we're going to put in the number 2. If we want to output the value, we just reference it the same exact way. I could do something as simple as system.out.println, open parenthesis, ARR sub 5, and it will basically return the value that is in that location, which is the value 2. We can create, what we've done before was just create a single dimensional array. It basically consists of one row with multiple columns. However, we can do a multiple dimension array, and the way we do that is we basically say that the ARR2 variable is going to have 2 dimensions denoted by the 2 sets of open brackets. We then create the equal sign so that we use the equal sign to create the memory location, which says new int 5 4, creating a 5 rows, 4 columns. In this case, we have ARR11 equals 4. So we go to the ARR1 row, column, and we put in a 4. In the case of this one, we go to 3 and 2. And this ARR really should be, these should be ARR2, not ARR. But 3, 2, 3, 2, which is going to be 7. And so it'll put those values into the 2-dimensional array. So arrays can be declared of any type, int, double, boolean, string, or anything else. And what it will do is it will allocate the amount of memory for those particular types. So that's why it's all of the same type. Retrieving from arrays is going to be easier when we use a loop. So for example, if I want to go through every element within a single row, a single dimensional array, or a row of a 2-dimensional array, I might actually do system.out.println ARR sub I, where I changes based on the value of a loop that we had learned 2 modules ago. We can also initialize the array in the same manner, where we create a loop that goes, say, from 0 through 4, where it increments, and then each subsequent I location will get a 0 in it. So arrays are easily accessed using loops if you want to go through a sequential instead of finding an individual item at a row and column.